Excuse the mess. I have a lot of stuff out right now because I was doing a lot of things at once. So I'm gonna, every day after I'm done, I usually clean the shop up, put everything back where it goes. I like to make sure I know where it's at for tomorrow. So that's my idea on that. We're gonna go ahead and start this one more time. You might need to adjust the idle on this one. Actually, it looks like that throttle is kind of, yeah. Okay, so first thing we're gonna have to do is definitely figure out what's going on with the throttle. I didn't realize that till now, but the throttle's actually freezing. So it's probably from the throttle cables being old and outside. So I may need to replace the cables, worst case. But I could throw some WD-40 on that bottom piece there, since that's kind of exposed outside. We may be able to get some play. That way the throttle's not locking up. The other thing it could be is the bar ends. Sometimes these bar ends, they're too tight. They can make your throttle lock up against the bar end. So anyway, we're gonna do some testing, and I will let you guys know what I'm doing here. So let's get that. So this is where you're gonna wanna hit it. This little piece right here. If your engine's on, it's probably gonna smoke. So just be aware. I'm spraying the whole thing because it's kind of one system that rotates when you throttle it. There's also one in the middle back there that we might need to lube up as well. So it's still getting stuck here. Let's see. We may have an adjustment issue up here as well. So we can try and see if that does anything. Okay. So the actual issue was not the throttle cables. It was this adjustment right here. It was completely off, which means it was just, it wasn't snapping back. It was just getting stuck. So now we're getting the snap effect because this was all the way up. And if that's all the way up, obviously. So no more sticky throttle. Okay. It's either like 1.5 or something like that, I believe. Or like 1,300. So I think it's supposed to be around there. That way when we start it up, it's not foggy. And this is also moving in here. So we need to make sure that these are tightened. So this might be loose down here. Okay, so it looks like this cable isn't all the way in. So what I'm going to do is make sure this is tightened, this Phillips down here, because that shouldn't be moving freely. Better, definitely better. Okay, so that's pretty good. We should be good on that. So the first thing to do when your throttle cables are acting up, sorry, this was out of focus. Let me turn this off. So the first thing to do if your throttle cables are giving you an issue, try this adjuster down here and see if that works. Just play with it. You know, there's a kind of like a nut and then like a actual piece that you turn. Kind of like the other side of the throttle bodies. Just see if that does anything for you. It looks like mine worked here. And then I would also throw WD-40 up by the throttle body side. They are all basically like spring loaded, so you could throw WD-40 on it and actually shoot WD-40 in the ports where the cable goes. and it definitely helps sometimes. So now it's not as snappy as I want it, so I'm probably gonna have to go in and spray some WD-40 on the other side. But let me see really quick. Okay. So let me see. So basically, the more forward this is, I think it loosens that, and then we get that effect there. So you got to just kind of play with it until you get your adjustment correct, and then check the slack on the other side. You want a little bit, but not a ton. So yeah, start here at this adjustment, and then move down if you have to. It looks like these are all the way forward, so the adjustment on the actual cables are good. So yeah, we'll have to play with that and figure that part out. But that's where I start with throttle cables, and then yep, it runs. It's just a little rough. I still don't know if it's fuel or anything like that. I'm going to assume it's the battery though, because I charged the battery overnight, came back the next day, started it, and it started really strong. As it sits, I started it again today without, charging it, and it's a little boggy. So I'm assuming the voltage is off a little bit. And I haven't even taken a multimeter to it yet, just because I want to get it together first and then start diagnosing. It's obviously really easy to take the airbox and throttle bodies off. It takes me like 10 minutes. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just going to get it cleaned up, make it look nice, get the fairings on together, make it a full bike, and then go get a battery. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, just based off of the fact that when it was charging, it was very strong, and then when it starts now, it's kind of boggy. Let me show you what I mean. It's probably going to do it. I don't have the tack or anything plugged in, but we'll still be able to start it. Okay, so it started strong that time. I'm assuming it's because I already started it once and let it run for 30 seconds or so. But again, that's kind of telling me there's a voltage issue because it charged a little bit while it was running. So I think it's just a battery. I'm gonna take a multimeter to it once I'm ready and see where that is. But this bike is almost ready to go. I got the fairings over here that I already started assembling. Yeah, it just needs put together. This thing will probably be a $5,500 to $6,000 bike here because it only has 6,000 miles, which is freaking awesome. They just couldn't get it to run and stuff like that. So anyway, guys, I'm going to keep you updated on these projects, show you what I bought, how much, and show you the end results. But stay tuned, and yeah, I'm going to be doing more builds, so hope you guys like it. What's up, everybody? So I am back. This is going to be part 2 and basically showing you the completed project here. So in the first video, you kind of saw me messing with the throttle bodies, trying to get it to run good, trying to do all of that stuff. And basically what happened was I replaced the throttle bodies, which had better injectors on them, nothing dirty or anything like that, since those were sitting outside, the fuel was sitting in the tank. What I'm thinking was those things were just completely clogged, dirty, whatever. So what I did was buy the fairing kit, which was $480 from NT Fairings. I bought the little emblems for the side because they usually, aftermarket fairings usually don't come with the emblems. And then I fixed the master cylinder. There was an issue with that, so the piston in the master was actually freezing up, which wasn't allowing me to brake properly, because on the Gixxers here, you have 2 brake lines that go to the right side caliper, and then 1 line from that side to the left. So it was basically seizing about halfway through and then releasing, but eventually it literally just seized completely. So when I figured that out, I was like, okay, master cylinder, it's not even the caliper. I obviously drained the brake fluid while I was at it, so I replaced the master cylinder, did the brake fluid. She's braking perfect now, both sides, everything's good. Pads as well. Did the antifreeze flush and change, the oil change. I run Rotella T6 on my slipper clutches, especially my Gixxers. I just like it. I change the oil every 1,000 to 1,500 miles. You don't have to run that. That's just personal preference. On any of my Italian bikes, I run Motul. Obviously, you know, you got to be bougie for the bougie side of the bike world there. But yeah, I don't like spending $100 on my Gixxer oil changes every time. So, and for filters, I run high flow. I've had an incident in the past with K&N filters. It actually split after I was doing some wheelies and stuff. I don't think it was the wheelies. There was a big recall on K&N filters, and after that I'm not comfortable using them. My bike went sideways on the highway. I didn't wreck, but I almost did, so enough for me not to use them. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what else I did. I basically went through, cleaned the whole bike inside and out. So I used that engine cleaner, which I will drop a link in the description, and yeah, I basically just shined her up. You know, obviously windscreen came with the fairing kit. Put on different bar ends. It already had ASV shorty levers on it, and I already had the Gixxer, the mirror block off plates there, so I actually threw those on instead of the mirrors as well. Just, it looks good with the red, it looks good with the black. I personally like mirrors, but I know a lot of people will run this bike without the mirrors, so it's kind of a Gixxer thing, I guess. Yeah, so let me give you guys a little walk around. Let me take this off the tripod here and show you guys what the end result looks like. So I mean, it came out really clean. The sun's kind of hitting it. Let me see if I can get that down for you. There you go. Already has aftermarket exhaust, all of that good stuff. So nothing too crazy. This thing was not bad to rebuild, especially for $1,200. And then the fairing kit and whatever else I'm into it, but I already had the parts to fix the throttle bodies, fix all that stuff. License plate bracket on it already, so nothing crazy. Tires were good, and yeah, so this thing has brand new fluid, brand new everything, clean title. The only thing it's missing, you know, really is the emblems on the tank and stuff, which I could have ordered, could have done all that, but now it starts up perfectly as well. I don't have the key in it right now, but you can see everything's good. So essentially, you know, when you're rebuilding bikes and doing this stuff, if you have a lot of the parts, there's nothing crazy that you need to do. You know, even if you need to order parts, usually it's nothing bad. It's like a case cover, you know, pegs or something like that, rear sets, and that's pretty much it. So I will update you guys. I'm going to list this for $5,500 because of the low miles. It has 6,000 miles on it. The tack that I was using in the first part was one of the other tacks that I had from a previous bike of mine. So yeah, this bike only has 6,000 miles on it, and it's geared as well, so it might not even have a full 6. The title even says, I think it's like 2,000, so I know that this is original miles. Guys I bought it from were super cool. The rear sets weren't even bent, you know, there was nothing crazy. I know that at one point it got dropped, but that's obviously fixable when you're rebuilding bikes and stuff like that. So anyway, guys, that's the Gixxer rebuild. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to let me know. These bikes I'm pretty familiar with. These are my favorite bikes, hands down. 06, 07 Gixxer 600, 750. I do ride 1000s, but these bikes have always been someplace in my heart, man. I don't know why. It was my first bike. It was a 600, and they just grew on me. So yeah, anyway, guys, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Peace.